Hey, MUCollectorClub.com. This is Evil Animation, and I thought, with all the great reviews going around, I thought, you know what, I have some other stuff other than, Marvel and DC that I know others collect. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, of course, Marvel fan, and there's a lot of other toy lines that I collect. So I thought I would do a review on something that was new, and it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line, especially this figure. This figure is really brand new. Luckily, I was able to come across it at my local Target, kind of just out on a hunt, and I saw a box of a 24 pack just sitting on the floor. There was actually no peg space for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at this Target. After I don't know if they were waiting for a reset or what. I know they had them at one point. But they just didn't have any, so I assume they were just kind of confused on what to do with them, so they had them set on the floor. And just like any other crazy collector would do, I opened the box just to see what it was, because I put the story on MUCollectorClub.com about the new listing for all the new figures over at Technodrome. Somebody, I don't know how they had like a Walmart screen where it showed what was coming out. So I opened it up, and sure enough, it was all old figures, and I'm looking, and then until I get to the last four, and it was really weird. This case had 24 figures in it, and like I said, they were all old figures, except for the last four, and it was this odd-looking color. And this was the first one I actually saw, and I was like, oh, these are the the new Ooze figures. And I thought, oh, these are great. They totally remind me of the old vintage line, and I was like, I have to have them because I was a huge Turtles fan, growing up. Along with the comics and then the cartoon, of course. Who doesn't remember the cartoon? I mean, well, except for all you younger people, which I hate. Not really, but so I was like, oh, these are awesome. So I picked them up, and I contemplated opening them just because I personally am not collecting this line. My son is. I give them to him, and because I have all the original Turtles still. Everything. I have a massive collection of it, but I've been collecting stuff for him, so I went ahead and bought these and picked them up and posted that I found them, and a lot of people had been kind of asking to see the articulation and whatnot about them, and I was completely disappointed. I was excited mostly because I found it and these were new, and I thought, oh, these are great. These are kind of like a throwback to the vintage line with a gimmick of whatnot. But after I opened it and I started looking at it, like I said, I was disappointed, mostly because the lack of articulation. It has a ball joint head, which is kind of cool, which is good. But the arms are just swivel, no ball joint. No elbow joint, no wrist joints at all. So it's just the arms, just swivel up and down. And then we come to the waist. There is actually a waist swivel, but that's it. No ball, no hips at all, no knees, no ankles. I mean, the other four Turtles don't even have ankles, but they have knees and ball joint hips. This figure has none of those. So the waist, I'm gonna assume that the issues here, or the ball joints here, have to do with the gimmick in the back. Maybe just for lack of space, but I don't really know. I mean, I would rather have had a ball joint hips as opposed to the waist. Maybe for when he turns and he can throw the mutagen with the backpack, which I'll show you in a minute, is what they were planning on doing. Yeah, just not real happy about that. I mean, I'm not upset about it. I'm just I was just kind of disappointed in the articulation. And I was going, I thought about selling these. And then I was like, what would be great is if I could take this head and then use it for this head, and then he could have multiple heads, and I could buy a couple of these guys and have different heads. Well, unfortunately, that won't work, mostly because the ball joint that's in this head is smaller than the ball joint on this figure, so it won't work unless you wanted to shave down the ball joint on this guy. This head will not fit on there because I already tried it. You could maybe heat it up and then pop it on there, but it'd be so tight, it wouldn't move, so it would kind of be pointless to do. But and if you saw the prototype pictures of this figure, there was a lot of paint on them. They actually had painted parts of the figure, and it looked really cool. In the final application, I don't know if it was cost saving or what, they decided not to paint the belts on him. So that's kind of a little disappointing as well. But if anybody knows anything about the line, you know that some of the paint apps are kind of weak on these. So I'm not surprised at seeing that kind of thing. So we'll look at this is the little thrower, the mutagen thrower. You put mutagen inside and you pump it, and it actually comes out of this little hole here, and it falls into this, and then you can fling it, so it gets all on your carpet and makes a mess, which I can imagine my son doing. So he's not getting any mutagen anytime soon. But all it does is it pops in the back, clicks into place, and then you have mutagen throwing Leo. And it throws it. Like I said, kind of interesting little gimmick. Kind of reminds me of the old vintage line. Just disappointed in the articulation on the figure. He comes with this giant toothpick. I'm not really sure what this goes to, or it's some kind of tiny sword, but I'm not really sure. So that's that. It comes with that, and then it comes with these 3 little globs. My only thought of these little glob things is, because at first I thought they were little turtles, which they are not. They aren't turtles. So I thought maybe these are just in case you don't have any mutagen, you can put these in his little pack and fling them. So if you don't have any mutagen, or your parents are like, you're not putting mutagen in there and throwing it all over the carpet. So maybe that's what these are, because they kind of look a little globby. So that's it. And that is Leo, the new Leo, the Mutagen Ooze Leo. So if you guys, just so you guys know, the articulation's not great on these figures, but they are kind of cool, like vintage throwbacks. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these or not. I'm not sure if I'm going to give them to my son, but we'll see. I'll have to decide on what I'm going to do with them. So anyways, check out all the other videos on the YouTube channel for mucollectorclub.com, and I hope you guys will like the videos and keep subscribing.